You know, we're back on the Severance train again because it's a fun train to be on. Maybe we end up doing something like this. My name is Brady. Welcome back to the channel. Severance has been relevant in a lot of our lives, and I want to take some interpretation on that and kind of do it of how I see it, but we can't do it without our good friend, Alen. He's acting like Mark S. Alen is Mark S today. In this outie world that they place Mark in, it's just dark. You know, it kind of feels like one of those scary dreams in 4th grade when like everything is really dark. That's how I interpret this outie world for Mark at his house. And they do a great job of doing that with the lighting. They're very particular with keeping their lighting contained and keeping only these very small spots, and then it leaves a ton of darkness throughout the entire frame. So that's something that we're going to take note of as we start to light this scene and pull things together. And we're going to do that with very small sources pointed directly at particular things to get the exact placement that we want and not to fill out and wash out an entire portion of the room.
It looks more like a shitty ski resort than a birthing center to me, but...
Okay, sure, fine, but it's gonna be awesome and you're gonna like it.
So the thing with these house lights in Mark's house is that none of his home is made to feel cozy. It's not a welcoming environment. So all of these warm house lights are not actually rendering warm. Everything else is just rendering a lot cooler with the lighting. So we're gonna start kind of piece by piece. And right now, just for reference, his monitor light is a true monitor light. We haven't added anything else there. Okay, so what we're doing here, I got my phone in one hand with the monitor, the Hollyland monitor. So I'm just trying to pop a little bit of light, you know, on the wall, just to give a little bit of texture, you know? So sometimes I do this, I just take like a little portable light and I just go mobile with it. What I think I can do is pull this to a flood and sharpen up this barn door. So right here is another one of those controlled little punches of light. So what this is, it's actually an aperture ADC outside with a Fresnel on it with barn doors. And I got that motivated off of that one wide shot where you see these little strips and streaks of light coming through Mark's window. And that's exactly what this is. So by turning this on, it's just creating this little slash of kind of like window texture coming through there. Check it out. The lights that we got under here, this is an Aperture MC Pro, and this right here is just a little tape cider that I put on it because we didn't want to see the actual element of the light. And I taped up 2 little pieces of metal so we can just magnetize it right there. So that's that light right here. This one is a little bit wider just because I wanted it to fill this whole space. This is an Aperture MT Pro, and again, same cider. And I've got this just magnetized to the metal there. Just pops on, just like that. We've got these lights right here at 3800 Kelvin. Put the camera's white balance down to like 3000 Kelvin, I want to say. Maybe we're at 3200 Kelvin. So it's going to make everything very cool. So it's going to make these kind of about like a clean, pure white. Because you notice in Mark's house, the kitchen lights are white and everything else is just steely blue cold. So that's exactly the motivation that I went for with adding these practical lights here. Try turning the computer a little bit and we'll see once we start to see the light. Oh, that's nice. Honestly, we're rocking with a ton of these little MCs. So this guy right here, how's it going, Alen? This was just our monitor light. I was blinding him while he was doing word finds for the last like 8 hours. This is just because the monitor light wasn't that bright to really cast on his face. So we keyed in with this and I just set that there and I just turned the computer to where you can not see it in the camera. Moving on, moving on. You hear the rhythm there, the melody? And then this guy right here is just another MC Pro, just to create the smallest bit of texture, because I turn it off. This is like barely on the edge of frame, but I just wanted to dance in a little bit of this, just to add in a little bit more level and to kind of continue what that ADC is doing through the other window, bring that through this window as well. We've got this light, this lampshade that's right here. It's very subtle. Honestly, looking at it now, just another MC Pro that's up in that guy as well. If I'm looking at my references, this right here is what we're missing, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's a light, there's something pushing into the window and glow something. So that's what I'm looking for right here, is just some sort of level right there. It's tricky because it's this balance of don't overdo it, but do enough to where it makes a difference. So that's exactly kind of that line that I'm feathering. But I think that if I add on that light that's outside, it's gonna add a little bit of push to the windows, and I think that it's gonna get us there. So that's what I'm gonna do. I gotta find a weatherproof light that's not gonna die when it gets rained on. The next weatherproof light that I had is the Aperture 600C Pro 2. Definitely gonna use this on like 1%, but I needed something that can hang out here in the rain for a little while. We're gonna throw in the F10 for now, because I want a softer feel. Okay. I'm gonna strike that on, striking. Whoa, it's not the look that we wanted. And I'm gonna put it to about 5,600 Kelvin for right now. And then we'll connect it to Sidus Link and let that do the rest on the phone. I kind of like what I got going on here. After all this time of hating it, this world of hatred, guys, I like it, but I want to feather, like I want a line almost. I want a flag. We're gonna flag it like that. Yeah, it's such a subtle thing, but I like it. And I shot that in. That's acting as a little bit of an edge light on Alen, but it's also creating a little bit of that shadow texture that we see. Like, check this out. Like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that texture there. And again, another controlled little streak of light that's just adding a little bit more interest to this darkness. Let me talk a little bit about the camera setup that we're choosing to work this on. They shot Severance on, I want to say, Sony Venice with the Panavision C lenses, something that I can't afford, quite honestly. So what I got out of that is characteristic anamorphic lenses. I think those are zoom lenses all throughout the ranges that they use, but they're very characteristic in a sense that they've got the stigmatisms and very weird edge characteristics, something that reminded me a little bit of, on a very cheap end, the Blaze Arcados, not comparing them at all. Two different ballparks. I went for the Blackmagic Pixis just because these pair pretty nicely together. So that's the setup that I'm working with on this. And then our white balance we brought down to 3,200 Kelvin. Did I shoot this bright and then darken it in post? But no, I would say it's pretty freaking dark in here. I'm kind of shooting it to camera and kind of how I want this to end up. I'm probably going to bring it down a little bit darker in the post, but I don't know exactly how it's going to look in the grade yet. Yeah, I could buy it. Okay, we're gonna roll this take here. So camera rolling, and Mr. Alen, I'll give you the go ahead to do whatever you want, just emotionlessly as possible, of course. Seven lights that all went into this. Yes, they're all small and they're all controlled, but there were 7 lights that all kind of went into little pops and corners to fill in these pools of darkness, essentially. I saw something once that was like, you can't have darkness without lightness because it's contrast. I don't know how true that is, but it sounds kind of cool. So we added some lights to make these dark areas really feel dark as well. We got the wide shot, but I like what's going on here, and Alen came all this way. Let's play around with a nice tight shot. I don't know exactly how I want this to look. For reference, I'm shooting this on the 55 right now. I kind of like that focal length, so I'm not even gonna change it. So I'm gonna move this, share, I'm just gonna move. Yeah, it looks fantastic. So I'm just gonna play around. I mean, I could go for an easy quarter, but I just don't feel like that's what they do. We're gonna cut for a second. Let's think about it. Let's think. Let's look at some of the inspiration shots. How will they frame him in some of these weird angles? A lot of these like empty frames, raking edges of walls. So let me try to emulate that. Maybe I come off for a second. Maybe we end up doing something like this. No, I hate this. It's way too superhero. This is, I mean, another far, so I don't like this. Maybe we just go to a clean profile. We're gonna do the 85 because I noticed their cinematic style is very tight and constraining in this outie world. So we're gonna go for this 85. All right, so now we're gonna play around with this. See, that's kind of fun. Love that. He really looks like Marquez. Okay, and just for the fun of it, guys, I'm gonna throw in the 40. This looks terrible on a 40. This does not feel like Severance at all. It's not just lighting that gives you a language, because I put this 40 on and get close and I'm like, this doesn't feel like Severance to me, because in a lot of their house shots, you can tell they shoot a lot of these really close-ups on like 85s. A wide close-up doesn't feel right, and that's your food for thought to end this video with. Is it's not just your lighting, it's your lens choice and everything else as well. So with that, you probably learned nothing from this video, but I hope you had fun along the way, and I love you for that. So I'm gonna sign off for the night, and make sure you subscribe.